Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, and it's the 22nd of October 2021, and we're going to take a look back at what's happened during the week, and we're going to take a look forward at what's coming up this weekend in the world of sport. This week, we're going to start with Speedway for a change, because on Sunday, Team Great Britain won the Speedway of Nations at Manchester in Bellevue Stadium. Sorry, the National Speedway Stadium at Bellevue, Manchester. First time we've won anything on a team level since 1989, and it was tough for Team GB, having lost the talisman and three-times world champion Ty Woofenden after day one with a nasty injury after a horrendous crash and his last scheduled ride on Saturday. But Team GB had Dan Bewley on standby, and Dan came in and did a sterling job on the Sunday alongside Robert Lambert, and also need to mention Tom Brennan, the under 21 rider, who he only had one ride each day, but he was unbeaten after those two rides, so he did really well, I've got to say. But when it came to the crunch on Sunday, Team GB was in the elimination semi-final with Team Denmark, and they beat Denmark, which was maybe a bit of a surprise to some people, because Leon Madsen and Mikkel Mikkelsen have been going well, especially on the Sunday. But they managed to take the place, the second, third place, and in fact on the line Lambert passed Madsen, so he actually won the race. So we won a 6-3 in the semi-final to set up a showdown with Poland, who would look like winning the event from start to finish. But in the final, basically Maciej Janowski made a big error coming into the fourth bend on, I can't remember if it was the first or the second lap. He tried to follow Bartosz Smarslik, and he went right out into the dirt and almost clipped the fence. Dan Bewley knew where he was going to go and read the move, and he would have passed him anyway, I would have thought, but he obviously helped Dan. Lambert was chasing after Bartosz Smarslik at that point anyway, but Dan come through to partner Lambert to the 5-4 they needed over second and third places to win them the Speedway of Nations title. So a fantastic day for British Speedway. So congratulations to the Team GB boys, all the team, to the management, Oliver Allen and Simon Stead, everybody else involved. It was a great thing, and let's hope we can push on from here. We had a test match actually during the week at Glasgow against Poland, Team GB, and they also managed to win that. It was curtailed after 12 heats. Unfortunately, we had a nasty crash in Heat 13 involving all four riders, where Adam Ellis and Dominic Cabrera both sustained dislocated shoulders, I believe, but hopefully they won't be out too long. Or it's the end of the season anyway, so hopefully it won't take too long for them to recover, and they'll be fitting well for next season. But Team GB won that. Obviously, Ty missed the meeting. We called in Chris Harris. He had performed well in that meeting. Dan Bewley was the top scorer of 11. Robert Lambert and Chris Harris got 8 apiece. And also there were 5 points for... So I think who got 5 points? I can't remember now anyway, but they all scored a few points anyway. The 6 rider teams, Adam Ellis scored 4, and Tom Brennan I think scored 4 as well. So, or maybe actually got 5. I can't remember. I think he got 5. Anyway, they did well. They won 36-35, and it's been a good week for all round for Speedway in Britain. Tomorrow night sees the Peter Craig Memorial Trophy at Bellevue, so should be going to that one hopefully, provided the weather plays nicely. And then on Monday we've got the Olympique at Wolverhampton. They're sort of like the last two meetings at the Premier League tracks. We've still got the playoffs going on in the Championship. Poole are in there. They're hoping to win the title at the second division level basically, and they've got space to earn competition from, I think it's going to be either Glasgow or Edinburgh in the final, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think Poole are probably slight favourites there. So we'll see what happens. I'll update you on that next week. So right, we're going to move on to the football now, and we'll take a look back first at what's happened during the midweek in the European games. We'll start with Manchester United, 2-0 down at half-time against Atalanta, fought back to win 3-2. Got to say, you're always in with a chance against Atalanta because of the way they play. They're very open, they just attack basically, they don't seem to defend. And with the quality of players that Manchester United have got up front, and we're always going to be a chance they were going to pull it back, and they did. And Ronaldo cropped up with a winner about 5 minutes from the end of a header. So I think it was a header, Pete. Pete Michael, if you're watching, I think he's right this week, it's a header. I know Harry Maguire scored as well, so you could say it wasn't always the attacking players, but he got in the right place at the right time. He should have scored before that actually, but he managed to knock one in to make it 2-2. Then Ronaldo scored the winner, like I say, a few minutes from the end. So they fought back well there. Good result for Liverpool as well. Interesting game. 2 up against Atletico Madrid. They won the Metropolitano. No, I can't even say it. Atletico Madrid's stadium. Wanda Metropolitana. Nearly right. I think that's right. Anyway, so 3-2 to Liverpool in the end, but they 2 up um, in the first half. They fought back to all did Atletico Madrid with 2 goals from Antoine Griezmann. Then he was sent off for a high challenge. 2-all. Liverpool went back in front with a penalty through Mo Salah, sort of his second of the game, and then Atletico Madrid were awarded the penalty, but the referee went to review it via VAR and changed his mind, overruled it, and didn't award the penalty, which seemed to infuriate all the team and the management as well, which resulted in Diego Simeone refusing to shake hands, running off down the tunnel actually at the end of the game, being very unsporting. Not like Simeone to be unsporting, is it? We've not seen that from him before, but anyway, so a good result for Liverpool as well. Manchester City absolutely battered Club Brugge. I watched that game. They won 5-1 in the end up. Well, it went out at 4-0. But yeah, they just totally dominated the game. Foden's passing in the first half was absolutely phenomenal. He was brilliant in the first half. His link up with Grealish and Cancelo as well. Cancelo scored and Kyle Walker, both the fullbacks scored. So great game. And then young Cole Palmer came on and he scored more from one of his first touches on the pitch. And he looks a real good talent. I've seen him play for England 21s. I think he scored in the game. I watched that as well. So he looks to be could be another Foden on the way through for Man City there. So keep your eyes on that lad. So comfortable win there. So the English teams doing well, and Chelsea also an easy win at home against Malmo. They won, I think it was 4-0 in the end up. But the big bad news from that was that Romelu Lukaku suffered a nasty injury to his ankle, and Timo Werner suffered a hamstring injury. It looks like they're both going to be out for a little bit of time now. I'm not sure they'll miss Werner too much, but they'll certainly miss Romelu Lukaku with the goals he's scored, although he had been through a little bit of a drought. So we'll see how long he's out for and how it affects the team. But they've got plenty of replacements there. They've obviously got Havertz for a start. They've got Pulisic and Mount, who can also play more forward roles if I have to. So let's see how they get on tomorrow. We'll come up to that in a moment. So that's the Champions League games dealt with. In the Europa League, West Ham had a comfortable 3-0 win against Genk. I switched it on, saw 2 goals, and that were it. In the second half, they were winning 1-0. Came down to watch it on the TV, saw 2 quick goals, and then that was it really. So a comfortable win. They've got 100% record still. Leicester played on Wednesday, and they've got to mention Patson Daka, who scored all 4 goals in their game away. I think it was Spartak Moscow they beat 4-3 away. Although they had to hold on a little bit at the end when Spartak got back to 4-3 at the end. But they did win, and that's a really good performance by Daka and a good result for Leicester, who are not doing that great really. And Napoli won last night against Legia Warsaw 3-0, so it pushes Leicester back down to 3rd in the group, and Napoli go back into 2nd. So we've still got a fight on their hands if we want to qualify for the next stage of it. So yeah, Leicester will want to sort of keep an eye on really. Rangers won the first game last night 2-0 in their match. They beat Brøndby at home at Ibrox. And then in the Conference League, Tottenham had a disappointing defeat away to Vitesse Arnhem 1-0. I think they might be the 3rd in their group now as well, but they tried to play the reserve team effectively. It didn't work. Young Scarlett, 17-year-old up front, he just wasn't up for it really. Not up for it, but he wasn't up to the required level of what maybe Nuno expected of him, or maybe he knew, and maybe they don't want to be in it. I don't know. It's not exactly. It's a stupid tournament in my opinion. It shouldn't even exist, but we'll see how they bounce back this weekend. Obviously, now we're looking forward to games in the Premier League, and this weekend's fixtures kick off this evening. And Aston Villa in action. They're away to Arsenal at the Emirates. So tough game for Villa after last weekend's disappointing result against Wolves, being 2-0 up with 10 or 11 minutes to go and losing 3-2. It seems like hopefully it's going to be a one-off, but Dean Smith did say that he thought it was a bit of a strange game, and the fact that he's the most comfortable he's ever felt in a game when he's managed against Wolves, but they end up losing. And some of the other ones have been really tense. So this is sometimes how it goes. I've seen the goals, and basically the winner was a deflected free kick, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You can't do it about it. The first goal was a good cross, which was, and the second one they couldn't really do it about. It's just one of those things really, and they have to put it to bed now. They need to bounce back against Arsenal, who probably quite positive after Monday night's result. They were losing to Crystal Palace at home, and they managed to get a late equaliser. In fact, they were probably in the last minute of injury time when Lacazette knocked it in for an equaliser. So they'll be up as well. So it's usually a good game between Arsenal and Villa. So I expect to see an exciting game at least. The main game this weekend, though, the big game, is on Sunday when we see the 4:30 kick-off on Sky. If we've got Sky, Manchester United against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Both teams will be in good mood after this week's European results. Should be a great game. Will it be a great game? You never know with games like this. There's sometimes a bit of a disappointment, but they're both playing well at the moment, or attacking-wise they are anyway. So, again, hopefully it'll be an exciting game to watch. Other games of importance this weekend. Well, Chelsea are at home to Norwich on Saturday lunchtime. They should walk that, really, even without Lukaku and Werner. Leeds have got an important game against Wolves. Leeds are struggling a bit at the moment, but Wolves are the type of team who you never know you get, as you saw what happened with Wolves and Villa last weekend. So, important game for both. Southampton and Burnley have got an important game as well. They're playing each other at St Mary's. Man City are away at Brighton in a tea time game tomorrow, Saturday. Sunday afternoon, Brentford play Leicester. Leicester will find that tough, I think, because Brentford have been really resilient. They've got some great attacking players as well, and they gave Chelsea a real run for their money last Saturday when they only lost 1-0, but they probably should have got at least a draw out of the game. And they'll be tough. They're beating Leicester's away form's been a bit flaky, so anything could happen there, and Brentford could win that, I reckon. Then you've got West Ham and Tottenham also at 2 o'clock on Sunday, and West Ham, it's a London derby, but West Ham will be up for it after winning last night against Genk. Tottenham, obviously, on the back of that result, but it won't be the same team. It'll be a totally different team. So we'll have to see how they respond generally to what Nuno's going to say to them. But those are the main events in the Premier League this weekend. We'll look at the conference now. Halifax sit third in the league at the moment. They've had some good results recently, and they won eventually in the FA Cup. They managed to dispatch Pontefract Collieries after a replay at the show on Tuesday night. The first game finished 0-0 over at Pontefract, and fair play to Pontefract Collieries. They brought 526 fans to the Shea on Tuesday night, and they've got behind the team really strongly. They didn't offer a lot, really. They had a couple of chances, one free header where they probably should have scored and put it wide, but Town struggled to break them down a little bit. They brought Jack Vale on in the second half, an hour into the game, I think it was, and he scored a few minutes later, so that was the winning goal. 1-0, tough match, and the players themselves, I think, I saw a tweet from Niall Marr saying that they pushed them all the way, and well, good luck to them for the rest of the season. But we managed to get past them, and now we've got Maidenhead at home on the weekend of the 6th of November. I don't know if it's actually been confirmed which day the game's being played, whether it's going to be moved for any of the highlight shows or anything. I know it's not one of the live games, but I'll keep you posted on when it actually is going to be played. But tomorrow, back to league action, and we're away at Solihull. That'll be a tough game. We always struggle a little bit at Solihull. I've been seeing them play there a couple of times in the past. They're tough opponents, but we'll want to consolidate our place in the league, and especially considering that the teams that are second and fourth, well, Chesterfield are fourth, Bournemouth are second, they meet tomorrow at the, whatever it's called now, is it the Proac Stadium? I have no idea what it's called at Chesterfield, but they keep changing name. So Chesterfield and Bournemouth tomorrow. Leaders, Grimsby at home to Yeovil, you probably expect them to win that. One of the other big games in the league tomorrow is Notts County against Stockport. And then you've got an Essex derby, Dagenham and Redbridge against Southend. Southend desperate for the points, struggling towards the bottom of the table, could be staring a second successive relegation in the face if they don't book their ideas up. So yeah, that's one that will be interesting in that area of the country. And then we've got the TV game, which is Maidenhead against Woking, so a chance perhaps to have a bit of a scout at Maidenhead if you're not doing anything else tomorrow tea time. That could be one for you to watch. So that's where we are in the world of football. I'm going to move on now to talk about cricket, and the T20 World Cup is underway, but it gets underway in earnest this weekend. England play the first game tomorrow lunchtime, I think it starts. They're playing the West Indies in the first proper game of the tournament. They've had a couple of warm-up games this week actually. They've won one and lost one, lost to India, but they beat New Zealand by 13 runs on Wednesday. A good performance there by Josh Butler. He got 73. Johnny Bairstow's been playing well the last couple of games, but we need to do it now in the games that really matter. So yeah, tomorrow we've got two games actually. It doesn't start at lunchtime. It starts at 3 o'clock according to what I'm reading now. So there's a game before that. Australia plays South Africa in the very first game of the Super 12s, and that starts at 11 a.m. and then the England game's at 3 p.m. So two big games tomorrow. And then we've still got one or two teams that haven't actually been qualified yet. On Sunday, one of the qualifiers hasn't been decided yet, play Bangladesh. And then in the afternoon, 3 o'clock again, India play Pakistan. There'll be plenty of interest in that game. And I must mention on Monday, Scotland have qualified. There's one game on Sunday and they're playing Afghanistan in the first game. It's the first time I think Scotland have qualified for the Super 12s of the T20 World Cup, so it's a good luck to them. Yeah, so it's underway in earnest now, so I'll be keeping you up to date with progress in that tournament as it goes on. Next, we're going to move on to talk about stock cars this weekend. We've got Kings Lynn this weekend. After a busy weekend last weekend at Northampton, and well, I should start with saying Mildenhall on the Saturday, and then we had Northampton on the Sunday afternoon. Well attended meeting really, and we're looking at probably Tom Harris and Ryan Harrison as the main protagonists in the National Shootout Series after last weekend. So, like I say, the action moves to Kings Lynn this weekend at Saddlebow Road at Kings Lynn Stadium. So, should be a good one to go to. Get yourself along there if you can. I'm sure a couple of my friends will be attending that one. And then, just moving on, we're going to say that we'll talk about Rugby League, Rugby Union and Rugby League actually. Rugby Union, just to say that the Autumn Internationals start next weekend. England have got 3 internationals starting in November. I think the first one for them is November 6th actually, but we've got some starting next weekend and we'll have a quick look at that next week. And Rugby League, Halifax Panthers be making some signings this week for their next season. And the one that I noticed, I've seen 2 actually. One was Joe Keys, who they've signed, has played for Hull, KR and Hull. And we've got a couple more players signed up since then. I'm just going to see who we've got. Titus Guaze, I think his name is. And then we've got Brad Knowles. They're the 3 that I've seen anyway. There may be more. If there's any I've missed, just tell me in the comments below. I was trying to keep up to date as best I can. But hopefully the Panthers fans will see those as strengthening the squad long term. Just looking a little bit about Guaze now, saying he's 22 years old. He's still a young man, so he's got potential. But yeah, so it's interesting to see how many more signings they make over the summer and who leaves and if any more people leave. But again, if you've got any more comments on that, let me know below. Okay, so I think that just about wraps it up for this week. I've got nothing else to really talk about at the moment, so I hope you've enjoyed watching again as normal, and enjoy your weekend of sport, and I'll see you all again next week. Till then, bye.